Hi everyone and welcome back to a new video. As always, we'll start with a very short ship intro before diving into today's Have You Noticed Something section. The background footage I have for you today shows the Tier 10 American cruiser the Hawaii. And the Hawaii is a rather unusual ship. You get an Alaska hull, which is very tanky for a cruiser. But strapped to that hull are very low caliber guns. They only have a caliber of 127 millimeters. And there are two very unusual things about these guns. The first is their layout. You get 12 twin barrel gun mounts, but only 6 of them, the bow and stern turrets, can fire to both sides of the ship, whereas the other 6 are distributed in sets of 3 on the port and starboard side of the ship, so that's something to get used to. The second unusual thing about these guns is what happens when you press the funny button. Yes, the Hawaii gets an alternative fire mode. The alternative shells that you get when you activate it have significantly decreased range, a lower fire chance, and very lofty shell arcs, but they'll reload in just 3 seconds, which you can get further down to around 2.7 seconds with the reload mod. Let that sink in, 2.7 seconds, and that's without adrenaline rush or any other modifiers applied. So in other words, enabling the alternative fire mode will turn the Hawaii into an absolute DPM monster, and you'll see some of that in the background footage. Right, onward with today's Have You Noticed Something topic. Have you noticed that the radical left seems to be completely and utterly detached from reality these days? And one of the aspects where this shows is DEI policies in the corporate world. I'm just gonna put the definition of DEI on screen here for you so we're on the same page. This was pulled from Wikipedia on April 15th, 2026. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, in short DEI, are organizational frameworks that seek to promote the fair treatment and full participation of all people, particularly groups who have historically been underrepresented, marginalized, or subject to discrimination based on identity or disability. It goes on, but that's kind of the gist. Sounds very wholesome, doesn't it? But when I look at reality, what I see happening is that DEI is used as a mechanism to just outright oppress and exclude white people, and the white heterosexual male in particular. If white folks are included, it's really just for them to feel sorry about being white. So DEI today seems like an organizational framework not to bring about more inclusion and actual fairness, but to systemically discriminate against anyone who doesn't happen to be part of some minority. And coincidentally, that always means it's white people who are being discriminated against. Discriminating against someone based on their skin color is called what? Yes, that's right, it's called racism. Let's make a short example, shall we? Imagine that you're a manager in a company and that you have to staff a team of 10 people. In a world governed by common sense, you'll just hire the 10 most competent people and get on with it. And if you think about it, that's the only fair way of doing it. Because if a candidate has done their best to be the most competent by putting in a lot of hard work, they'll get rewarded for all that hard work. And all the people who haven't put in the work won't get the reward. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And have you also noticed the complete absence of skin color or religion or gender as criteria in this equation? No one asks about these things. The only thing that matters is competence. Doesn't matter what skin color you have, doesn't matter what religion you have, or the kind of God you believe in, doesn't matter what you have between your legs. The only thing that matters is competence. But that's not how the Western Hemisphere works in 2026, is it? Everything's falling apart, but the radical left keeps telling us it's okay, because there are now 347 different genders. And we have gender-neutral bathrooms. And in this kind of completely deranged setting, it's not the most competent who get hired anymore. Instead, it's the ones who fulfill some kind of quota. And suddenly, it's all about skin color again, and gender and religion and whatnot. So, if you've put in all the hard work to be the most competent, but you're a white heterosexual male, you won't get hired as long as there is some bullshit quota to fulfill. That is sexist and racist, but the radical left won't get tired to tell us that it's actually really progressive. So, since DEI is obviously just a nice sounding vehicle to camouflage and disguise racism and sexism against white people and the white heterosexual male in particular, as tolerance and inclusion, let us vote with our wallets by boycotting any and all companies employing DEI policies, because this is where we can strike them. At the end of the day, all these companies care about one thing and one thing only, and that's their profits. Let us show these companies that we will not purchase their products and services if they're actively oppressing and disrespecting us. Let them go broke.